Hello everyone, welcome back. So in this video today we'll study about dynamic arrays. Basically what does I mean by dynamic array is that you must have heard the concept of collection framework, and in collection framework basically about array list, right? So this dynamic array is basically the array list from collection framework. So in this video we'll study about this. I'm not gonna record it again during collection framework, so try to focus here. Dynamic arrays in Java are the arrays that can grow or shrink automatically during runtime. So what was the drawback we have seen for arrays was of their fixed size. So normally arrays have the fixed size and we have to initially define what size of array it will be. For example, if we want a array of size 5, we created it like this. But later we realized that we need to insert say 10 elements in this. So we can't change it later, right? So this was the drawback of array. It was array's drawback. And now to overcome that drawback, we came with the concept of dynamic arrays in which array can grow or shrink automatically during the runtime. In simple words, the size changes dynamically. And problem with normal array we have seen is of fixed size, and we declared it like this. And in normal arrays, small fixed size bag. You can think of it as a real life example, and dynamic is expandable travel bag, which you can expand as per your need. You can increase the size whenever required. So does Java have real dynamic arrays? Yes. What we have seen is array list, and that is from collection framework, right? So array list is called as dynamic array. And to use array list, first you need to import this from a package, because this is already present in a inbuilt package of Java, that is java.util. Okay, this is the package. So to use this, you need to import java.util package using a command uh, written at the top as import. Either you can import it like this way, java.util dot star. What does this asterisk mean? It means whatever is inside is this package, whether it's array list, it's hash map, or whatever things, you can use that. If you want to be particular about including only array list in that program, that you need to import it like this. Import, then java dot util dot array list. Array list and then semicolon. This way you will be able to use only array list from the util package, right? So how do we create dynamic arrays? To create dynamic arrays, we declare it like this. I'll just change the color of pen so that you can better understand it. Okay, so for creating dynamic arrays, you create it like this. First of all, what is the thing you are creating? That is array list, right? And what type of array list it should be? Integer, right? If you are creating it for integer, remember, don't use int. If you use int, that is that will cause you errors, because we can't use that. We need to write complete integer here. Then you can give the name as L1 or anything, and then what you need to use new keyword. Then again, what you are creating, array list. And this is the syntax of creating a dynamic array, right? This will create a dynamic array. You can perform some actions on this, like for example, you can add something in this list, l1 dot add, using add, and what you want to insert. For example, you want to enter value 10, and you can add like how many values you want. The array list size will get increased based on the values you will add, and it will grow automatically, right? Now, this is the basic program for ArrayList, in which we are importing it first. Then we are creating a class named as dynamic array. We are creating main function inside it, in which we have created an ArrayList. And in this list, we have added 10, 20, and 30. And then we are just printing this. And what is the output? You can expect 10, 20, and 30. This will be the output you can see here. And it will come like this. I can show you this program in editor so that you can better understand what do I mean by ArrayList. So let's move to our editor, and we'll create a class, say array list dot java. Okay, then we created a class, or let's not use ArrayList as our class name. We'll rename it ArrayList example because these are reserved words. We should not use them. Just right click and you'll see a rename option, or you can press F2 and here you just write ArrayList. Oh, my editor is causing problem. I'll create another class named as ArrayList example or dynamic array. You can keep the name whatever you want. Dot Java is the extension. Then we'll write public, then class. What is the class name? ArrayList example. Then inside that, we know we need to create a public static void main string arguments, right? And here you will start creating your array list. You can create array list as this and writing integer, then list name, list one equals to new array list, right? But this will cause problem. You won't be able to use array list until you import it. So you need to import java dot util dot array list, right? So now what you can do, you can add values in this list. For example, we write this list one dot add 10, 20, and 30. Then we will print this list using system dot out dot print, and we'll print the list. And let's run this program to see the output. It can take some time if you are using it after a long time. It will first compile our code and then it will run our code, and then it will show us the ignore these linting. These are just because of extension. See, it came in square bracket, and this is just adding. What if you want to remove something from the list? What you can do, list dot remove. Say this will remove whatever element you have at index 1. So it will remove that. And what is the element at index 1? At index 1, we have element 20 because in arrays, we have seen the indexing is zero based indexing. So based on zero based indexing, the element that is present at second position will be the element that is at index 1. So index 1 is equivalent to position number second, right? So see what list we got, 10 and 30, because we have already removed 28. Now, if you want to set some value, what you will do? List one dot set you can use, right? And what you want to set, for example, at 0th index, you want to insert 15. So it will push the elements present in the list to right side and insert the element at 0 position, that is 15. See, we got an error because of this temp coordinator file we have. We'll just delete this file and then we can see if we then rerun our program, that is ArrayList example, then we'll get the correct output. See, it will just compile our code, then it will run our code. Till this file is causing some error. Let's manually compile and then run it. That is javac. And what is our file name? Array ArrayList.java we have to write. ArrayList example dot java. We are compiling our code first. It will convert our code to bytecode, then we'll run Java. See, now we got element at Sorry, at index 0 we get value as 15. It will replace that value. Whatever value I had before, I can show you before setting it. We will just print the list. Okay. List one will print. See. And then after removing, we'll see the output. So first of all, the output would be whatever element we have, that is at list one. See, here we have 10 and 30 initially. Then we set the value at index 0, that is 15, right? So this 0th index value will get replaced. This 10 will get removed and 15 will get inserted at this place. So these are some of the basic methods, and you can use different multiple methods for array list we have. Now I think you are clear with this. We can move to PPT back and we'll see what other things are there, right? I hope you can see my PPT. Just wait a second. See, now updating elements means you can set, we have just seen updating elements concept, we have seen removal concept. This one is left. List dot get 0. The element that is present at index 0 will get printed, and what will be the output at index 0? Here we have value 10, so 10 will get printed in the output, right? So what are the important methods of array list? We have add to insert an element, remove to delete an element, get to access element, set to update element. Size will give you the total elements, clear will remove all. I want you to try all these. What you have to do is you have to just append the list name, and before it, like list one we had dot add. Whatever you want to add, you can write inside it. 10 you want to add, right? So you can write it in braces. Whatever you want to remove, at what index you want to remove, you have to specify what index value you want to get, at what index you want to set the some value, and what is the size of the list. To clear the list, you can use this list one dot clear method, or to check the size, you can use list one dot size. Now I want you to try it yourself so that your understanding will get increased. Now, what are the advantages of dynamic array? What are the drawbacks we have for array? Will be the advantages of this dynamic array, because we this uh, concept came to overcome that arrays drawbacks only, right? So size changes automatically, insertion is easy, deletion is easy. Now we get the flexibility to use our arrays, and this is mostly used in our real projects. What are the disadvantages here? It is slightly slower than normal arrays. It uses some extra memory and resizing overhead, right? So what is the difference between arrays and dynamic arrays? Till now, I think you are clear that array is of fixed size, and dynamic array name itself suggests the size can be increased at the runtime. Arrays are faster as compared to dynamic array. In array, we have the less flexibility, but we get more flexibility in dynamic arrays. If you want to increase the size of the array, you have to manually resize it before declare, like whenever you are declaring and initializing, there only you have to change the sizing. But here automatically resizing happens at dynamic time, dynamic, or we say that at runtime, right? Now there is one another concept, that is shallow copy and deep copy in Java, and this is really very important. People must go through this concept once. They usually ignore this concept, but this is really very important. What does a copying mean? First of all, think it as a very simple concept. If you want to create something from existing data, so what you will do, will just copy paste. Like for example, in our childhood, when we have to draw some diagrams, we used to take the carbon paper. You remember, we used to take that carbon paper and we used to draw on this, and we get the carbon copy, exact copy of that on another page, right? So here copying means creating another variable object array using existing data. So whatever existing data we have, we are just copying that data. Okay. For example, in array 1, we have these three elements 10, 20, 30. Now we want another array, array 2. Now there are two ways you can copy this array. That is shallow copy and deep copy. Now we'll go through these concepts. What is shallow copy? A shallow copy means it will only copy the reference or the address, but not the separate actual data. It means two variable will point to same memory. If you have array 1 and array 2, right? If you do shallow copy, it will point to like this. Same, it will point 10, 20, and 30. Means two variables will point to same memory. These array 1 and array 2 will point to same memory, right? For example, two people share same notebook. If one changes notebook, other also sees the changes. For example, if you see we use Google Slides or Google Word or something, there we can share our, we have an option to share in which we can collaboratively work, right? So for example, we'll take just example of Word. Google Word, we share it with one of our friend and we both are working on it. So if someone is changing something in that, other person also sees that because the notebook is same and the pointing memory, the two variables or two persons are pointing to the same word or same memory. That is meant by shallow copy. I think with this example, you can remember concept of shallow copy very easily. Now see, how do we create it? First of all, we have this array. For second array, we'll just mark it equal to array 1. Now array 1 and array 2 will point to same array, right? This is the memory representation we have already seen. Both are pointing to same memory. Now, if you want to change data in shallow copy, how will you change? For example, if you have first array like 10, 20, and 30, this is the values we have in array 1. Now, if you want in array 2, you should have value 10 or 120, 30, then that is not possible because both of them are pointing to same memory location. So if you will update something in array second, it will get updated in array first also. Both will get changed because both memory is same. So this you can say the drawback of shallow copy. You cannot have different values in both the arrays because they are pointing to same memory. This is just an example. How can you create the shallow copy? I can show you it in my editor. Just wait a second. Yeah, we'll see shallow copy example here. Dot Java. We'll create a class. Class name should be same as file name. Here, think of it first array, original array we have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in shallow copy, what we are doing, we are assigning it equal to original array. This will create the shallow copy of this original array. And if we modify the 0th index value from 1 to 10, then we will see what is the output in original array and what is the output in shallow copy. So you will see both the arrays will now have this updated 10 value and the output will be 10, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is just we have used the for each loop or enhanced for loop to just print our array values. So let me run this program. See, now original array also got modified with shallow copy. So this you can think of the disadvantage of shallow copy because you will have same values in both the arrays. Now you cannot have different values in two arrays. Okay, so why is it called shallow copy? Because only outer reference is copied, not actual separate data. Data is always same because if you are manipulating the first value, it is getting changed for both the arrays, not only for one. Now, what is deep copy? Deep copy will create completely separate memory and copy actual values. Original and copied values are independent of each other. For example, I told you the example of that carbon paper. Na? Now, whatever you will do, like you had a one image, you carbon copied it on another image. Now you have two copies of that. If you want to change first image, you can make some changes in first because that is a separate page now. And if you want to make some change in second one, you can make it on second page. Or you can see if you photocopy a notebook, original notebook is separate and copied notebook is separate. Changes in one will not affect the changes in another. That is the same concept we have in deep copy. For example, you have this array 1 in which you have three values 10, 20, 30. And in array 2, now how do you create this copy? So if you have array 1 int arr1 equals to some values like 10, 20, 30, to create deep copy, what you were doing? You were just taking the array 2 and you were directly assigning it array 1, right? This was creating your shallow copy, right? Now, what if you want to create the deep copy? So deep copy will be created using new keyword. You will create array3 equals to new, and in you will write whatever the size of array1 we have or length, you will write that. Okay. This is the way you will create deep copy, and then you can iterate over it. You will get a separate memory created for it, and the memory representation will be different for both. If you make some change in array 2, it will not impact array 1, or if you make any change in array 1, it will not impact array 2, because both the memory locations are different. Now, changing deep copy data, this is just an example. I'll first show you it in my editor so that you will be able to understand it better. So let's create another file named as deep copy example dot java, and we write public class deep copy example, in which we have created an original array, and we have created the deep copy of it using the original array length. This will create a new array for deep copy, and then we are just copying the elements whatever we have from original array to deep array using our for loop, and then we are modifying the deep copy. This will not impact original array or viz remember, because both are pointing to different memory. Okay, so here we have modified the element at zeroth index as 10, but whatever we had in original array, that is value 1, will remain same if we have changed it in another array, deep copy array. Okay, then we are just printing our original and deep copy array. Let me run this code for you. You will see. Oh my god, let's compile it ourselves. It's causing some problem. So javac deep copy example dot java. This way you compile your code, then to run your code you need to just write deep copy example. Now you see original array have elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whereas deep copy has 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we have just modified the value that is here. Deep copy at zeroth index we have modified to 2. It will not impact our original array. So this overcomes the drawback of what we have for shallow copy. So deep copy or shallow copy based on your use case you can use. Another example you can see here, array 2, we have changed the index value at 100. So array 1 will be same 10, 20, 30, but array 2 will be 10, 100, 20, 30. Original array will remain unchanged. Another example, this is the same example. Here array 1 elements we are creating. This is deep copy, always remember, okay? And then you are just printing the values, and then you are modifying the value at zero index, and then you are just outputting on console the array 1 value at 0 index and array 2 value at 0 index, that is 10 and 100. With change in one array, there will not be impact on another array. So this was the concept of deep copy. Now we have some methods for deep copy. So first of all, what is this clone? Clone means creating deep copy for primitive arrays. It will create the deep copy for primitive arrays. Like if you have any int, float, double, character array, you can just use the whatever array name you have. Like for example, you have one array that is int arr1 equals to 1, 2, 3, right? Then to create the clone of it, how can you do that? You can use arr2 array equals to first array dot clone. With this, you can create the clone of first array, right? Or using arrays dot copy of. This will use Java arrays class. This you can like int arr2 will be equals to arrays dot copy of is one of the function present in this, in which you have to first pass for from like with which array you want to create copy and what is the length of that array, arr1 dot length. And this is mostly used in our real life projects or industrial projects. Now difference between both of shallow copy and deep copy is totally clear to you till now. Shallow copy is just copying the reference and they are pointing to same memory, but in deep copy they are copying the actual data, and the separate memory is being used for both of the arrays. if we will make change in one element in shallow copy, it will impact another array, but it will not change. It will not get changed in deep copy. Changes are independent here, right? Shallow copy is faster, whereas deep copy is slower, and shallow copy uses less memory as compared to deep memory, right? Because shallow copy is not changing the position of memory, so it is faster, right? And it is using obviously less memory. Now, what common mistakes that student make? They think that array 2 equals to array 1, it will create deep copy. No, this generally creates shallow copy. It will not make like separate memory for them. It will just point both the variables to same memory. Okay. And they confuse ArrayList with array. They are both different. ArrayList is a part of collection framework, and we create it in this way: dynamic ArrayList, and will pass complete integer. Don't write int. This is wrong. You have to write it this ArrayList integer, right? Now this was all about this video. We'll see next topic in next video. Thanks all. Bye bye. If you like my video, please do share, subscribe to my channel. Thanks.